Around the globe, there are signposts of progress. The shadow of world war that existed at the founding of this institution has been lifted, and the prospect of war between major powers reduced. The ranks of member states has more than tripled, and more people live under governments they elected. Hundreds of millions of human beings have been freed from the prison of poverty, with the proportion of those living in extreme poverty cut in half. And the world economy continues to strengthen after the worst financial crisis of our lives. Today, whether you live in downtown Manhattan or in my grandmother's village more than 200 miles from Nairobi, you can hold in your hand more information than the world's greatest libraries. Together, we've learned how to cure disease and harness the power of the wind and the sun. The very existence of this institution is a unique achievement. The people of the world committing to resolve their differences peacefully and to solve their problems together. I often tell young people in the United States that despite the headlines, this is the best time in human history to be born. For you are more likely than ever before to be literate, to be healthy, to be free to pursue your dreams. And yet there is a pervasive unease in our world. A sense that the very forces that have brought us together have created new dangers and made it difficult for any single nation to insulate itself from global forces.
I'm very aware that this film could be seen as bleak and depressing, an increasing population with an ever-decreasing supply of resources.
We're talking about the loss of whole ecosystems. We're talking about the disappearance of everything we have known in certain parts of the world. And I don't think I'm being over-dramatic.
Russian aggression in Europe recalls the days when large nations trampled small ones in pursuit of territorial ambition.
Even setting aside the moral responsibility we have to protect other species, if we continue to damage our ecosystems, we damage ourselves.
As we gather here, an outbreak of Ebola overwhelms public health systems in West Africa and threatens to move rapidly across borders.
What we're talking about requires very big changes, and which will require people not just paying lip service, but really believing it is true and putting things behind it. Now, that means that they ought to be converted. They ought to actually think that the natural world is precious.
The brutality of terrorists in Syria and Iraq forces us to look into the heart of darkness. Each of these problems demands urgent attention, but they also are symptoms of a broader problem.
Our genetic code still carries the selfish and aggressive instincts that were of survival advantage in the past.
The real problem in society is not whether we're teaching our kids enough science. Because let's say we started that tomorrow. Does that mean everything's okay? If we teach the 13-year-old better STEM education and a better STEM teacher, am I going to wait 40 years for that kid to become president or member of Congress so that we now have a scientifically literate country? No, I'm not that patient.
Our population and our use of the finite resources of planet Earth are growing exponentially, along with our technical ability to change the environment for good or ill.
For me, the real challenge, the real problem are scientifically illiterate adults. Adults are in charge. There are 5 times as many adults as there are kids in this country. Adults wield resources. Adults vote.
We are in danger of destroying ourselves by our greed and stupidity. We cannot remain looking inwards at ourselves on a small, an increasingly polluted and overcrowded planet.
If you did a census of all species on Earth at the moment as to which species would be the best one to disappear for the future sustainability of the planet, it'd be us.
It will be difficult enough to avoid disaster in the next 100 years, let alone the next 1,000 or million.
Don't tell me, well, let's fix the kids and everything will be fine. Fix the adults, then the kids will be fine.
We're at a crossroads where we can choose to cooperate or carry on regardless.
If astronomers told us that a comet of the size of the one that destroyed the dinosaurs is heading our way, presumably the whole human species would start pulling together and would start getting their heads together, having meetings, trying to think of ways of averting the catastrophe.
But humans have capabilities that animals don't. To think rationally, to study, to plan ahead. Can our intelligence save us? I hope so.